Hey, everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure.
Hello. We are back again with the same clothes from last episode. If you watched last episode, you know I spent my vacation drinking beer and reading books and it was the best vacation ever, by the way.
I, however, spent my time in the mountains with no connectivity.
Which is its own type of amazing. I think you know that's my preferred vacation. I do the beach thing because you're family, but if it was me, I'm going to the mountains. Forget it. But one of the books that I read on vacation, I really want to talk about. I want to give a spoiler-free tease about it, and then my overall review and thoughts. So, The Fractured Fables by Alix E. Harrow, I hope it's Harrow, not Harrow, but Harrow, is a multiverse fairy tale retelling of of Sleeping Beauty in a Spindle Splintered, and then the sequel, A Mirror Mended, is the multiverse retelling of Snow White. So, I've set the scene a little bit. Both books are very recent, like in the last couple years.
Okay.
The author is in her mid-30s, so we'll just roughly say our age, which is always very nice to read that. I connect with words on a page when the author is obviously us. And they're about 120 pages. So very short stories, but they don't feel like short stories. And that's what really got me about these. So in A Spindle Splintered, we meet our main character. Her name is Zinnia Gray. She is, I can't remember if she's 20 turning 21 or if she's 21 turning 22. Immaterial.
Yeah.
She lives in rural Ohio.
Ooh, I'm familiar with that.
Sort of where you live. Maybe a little outside of where you live. But she went to college at OU.
Oh,
Okay, so Zinnia grew up in rural Ohio, and a factory, like runoff and pollution or whatever, poisoned the water, and so
DuPont?
it's an unnamed factory.
DuPont.
I'm gonna say, I went to school at OU and lived in rural Ohio, and I know Becca does right now, and it is extremely obvious from reading this book, the author was there. This is a lived experience, okay? But Zinnia Gray, contracted a syndrome because she ingested all this water when she was a baby, and essentially, people die from this. It's like generalized Mason syndrome, or it is a made-up syndrome, but um, most of her peers that were studied when they were children passed away on the way. And of all the people that have ever contracted this disorder, none of them have ever lived past 21 or 22, which is why I can't remember which birthday she's turning, right? So, as you can imagine, she is Sleeping Beauty.
Ah.
So, um, from a very young age, she gravitated towards Sleeping Beauty, and she made Sleeping Beauty like her obsession in her life, because according to her dying girl rules, right? Like, you live faster than everybody else because your time is limited. You don't fall in love. Like, she has all these rules, right? So when you like something or whatever, you become obsessed with it because you don't have time to expand. So Sleeping Beauty became her thing. She had childhood bed sheets and every single version of Sleeping Beauty ever written, blah, blah, blah. She finished high school early, went to OU, and she got uh, a degree specifically in like fairy tale literature where she had a concentration in Sleeping Beauty, right? So,
Okay.
all to say, she loves Sleeping Beauty, one, and two, is very academically bent on fairy tales,
Yeah.
which is very awesome when you read this book. Okay, so for her birthday, her best friend, whose name is Charm, see where this is going, yeah, throws her a surprise Sleeping Beauty themed birthday party
Okay.
in the tallest tower of an abandoned like mental institution.
Hmm.
This is why I'm like, it feels so true, right? And Charm buys an old timey antique spindle from an antique shop down the street and has that there as part of the decor. And at the end of the party, Charm tells Zinnia to prick her finger
Retro.
because so Zinnia pricks her finger and falls into another dimension. And she
Oh.
and she wakes up in the bed of a princess who is in the tallest tower of a castle. And the story goes, this is not Sleeping Beauty. It is a version of Sleeping Beauty that she falls into, right? So Zinnia takes it upon herself that she is going to save Sleeping Beauty because she cannot save herself. And shenanigans ensue.
We don't need true love's first kiss. We need something else.
You get so the great thing about this book, all right, you know how we've read Crescent City, we've read Akatar, we've read
Mhm.
the Fourth Wing Iron Flame Onyx Storm, and these books are like that stack of books I held up in the last episode. That's one of those books, right? This tiny ass little book does more in this book than pretty much the entirety of Onyx Storm. Within the first 6 pages, you know who the character is. The entire world is real, full, lived in. Zinnia, of course, in true female lead character way, is smart, sassy, and sarcastic.
Love.
But she's sassy and sarcastic from an academic standpoint. So she's just the entire time using literary and movie allusions out the wazoo to make fun of fairy tales.
Okay. Okay.
These sentences, I'm going to use the word dense. This is so dense in terms of the content you're reading. But it's a true short story insofar as it is light. It doesn't feel like any effort to read at all. It goes by like that. It is, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think I have fallen in love with Alix E. Harrow. Brain. Don't get mad at me, Elizabeth. I think she's a rhetorical genius. And of course it's a multiverse, right? So and everything gets stood up on its head. Sleeping Beauty, the Wicked Witch, the Stepmother, Prince Charming, all of that gets stood on its head, and it's amazing. I don't even want to ask if you're going to read it because I think everybody that ever comes across a book should read this book. It is that amazing. 5 out of 5, 6 out of 5, 7 out of 5. Read it.
You told me about it in a previous episode, and I had already put it on loan and already got it while I was out on Banff. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to delay this just a little bit so I can pick a day and sit and read it.
Sit and read it. I kind of want to touch on the sequel a little bit. Because these books are so short, I don't really feel like what I'm about to say is that big of a spoiler. There are two books. Zinnia survives. Spoiler alert. Oh no, who could have seen that coming? um, but what I'm going to say is Zinnia survives the first book and she takes it on herself that she is going to do that with however much time she has left, meaning just travel through all of the different dimensions and save as many Sleeping Beauties as she can.
Oh.
How is this a Snow White retelling, you might ask? She crosses so many dimensions that the dimensions go from string theory to spaghetti theory, as it were. And the dimensional planes start getting wonky, and she goes one too far and answers the cry of help for a lady who ends up being the wicked stepmother for a version of Snow White.
Huh.
And she finds herself captured because the wicked stepmother witch queen for Snow White needs help. So will Zinnia help her? And how will she do that given that these string theory dimensions have turned into spaghetti theory and nothing is as it was?
Yes, have to read. Must read.
It's so cool. Um, this is how cool this book is. Do you see that this has a bookmark in it?
Mhm.
I've already read it. Who do you think could be putting a bookmark in this?
Oh my gosh, you convinced Elizabeth to read it?
I convinced your sister to read a fantasy book, a fairy tale book.
That's pretty good, and she looks most of the way through it.
She is, yeah, like 75, 80% of the way through.
Nice.
Yes, yes. Um, all right, here's the other thing I'm going to say about Alix E. Harrow. Um, she currently lives in Charlottesville, Virginia,
Jealous.
which, if you know, that's like my spirit animal location. It's like my dream place to live. And she has a new book coming out at the end of October. And there's going to be a book fair in Crozet, which is about half an hour outside of Charlottesville. And it's actually the city in which your sister and I's favorite bed and breakfast is. So we've been there multiple times.
So we're road tripping, is just what I heard.
I was going to suggest it. The only problem is that the book fair is like on a Tuesday. So PTO might be needed if you're actually interested. But it's also wine country. It's anyway.
Yeah.
Um, she used to be of like a professor, academic adjunct, something like that, before she was able to turn this into a full-time career writing. Um, but I bring that up because one of her books is very specifically, I think you should read after you read these, of course. It is called The Once and Future Witches. And it screams the the brief back cover plot screams sort of like Hocus Pocus. There are these three witches back in the like 1600s. Witchcraft doesn't exist. And in order to further the women's suffrage movement, they start doing witchcraft.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Yes. So I really want to read that one. And I thought that might be one that could be fun for us to read together because I know how much you like witches.
Yes, that would be a good buddy
Yes.
read.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So this mini episode is getting too long. So a Spindle Splintered, a Mirror Mended, both by Alix E. Harrow. They make up the Fractured Fables, of which you can get a book that is called The Fractured Fables that have both of these short stories inside one book cover. 5 out of 10. I'm sorry, 10 out of 5 rating. I think everybody should read it. I think this is um, the smartest book I think I've ever read. This was funny. It was emotional. It was intelligent. It was witty. It was clever. Um, not only was it a good story, but if you've read enough books, you have a sense of what is a good book, and you'll read this and just be in awe of just the writing and what spilled out of somebody's mind. Fantastic. Fantastic. So if you end up reading it, let us know. And I
All
think we
right.
can
Well, I
put a
think,
bookmark in it there. Yeah.
yeah. You can always reach out to us if you've got other recommendations to Becca's Book Club at gmail.com.
Book Club by Becca.
Book Club by Becca. You would think I'd know this by now. Book Club by Becca at gmail.com.
Yes. So on to the next one. We'll see you guys
Bye.
later.